There's a moment that changes how you see everything. It's when you realize time isn't waiting. Not dramatically, not with panic. Quietly. You look up and understand that weeks turn into years. And years don't ask for permission. At first, it creates discomfort. A subtle pressure. A sense that something matters more now. That feeling isn't fear. It's awareness. Most people live as if time is abundant. As if there's always later. Later to start. Later to fix things. Later to get serious. When you realize time is running, later loses its power. You stop postponing what matters. Not because you're rushed, but because delay suddenly feels expensive. Small choices start to feel heavier. Not in a stressful way, in a clarifying way. You begin to notice where your time is leaking. Conversations that go nowhere. Habits that don't build anything. Distractions that steal hours without giving anything back. Things you once tolerated start to feel unnecessary. Another shift happens internally. You stop chasing urgency and start valuing direction. When time feels infinite, speed feels important. When time feels finite, alignment does. You care less about being busy and more about whether your days point somewhere. You also become more selective with people, not out of arrogance, out of clarity. You realize not every connection deserves your energy. Not every opinion deserves your attention. Not every expectation deserves compliance. Time forces honesty. You also stop waiting to feel ready, because readiness is often just fear in disguise. When time matters, you act before certainty. You move with imperfect clarity. You adjust along the way. Momentum replaces overthinking. Another thing that happens is emotional simplification. Petty concerns lose weight. Comparisons fade. Trivial drama feels pointless. You don't have energy for things that won't matter in 5 years. You start asking better questions. Is this worth my time? Will I care about this later? Does this build or just occupy? Those questions quietly reshape behavior. You also feel a new kind of calm. Not because life slows down, but because priorities sharpen. When you know what matters, everything else becomes background noise. This realization doesn't make life heavier. It makes it cleaner. You stop living by default. Stop filling time. Stop drifting. You begin to design. Not perfectly, but intentionally. You protect mornings. You guard focus. You build routines that support who you're becoming, not who you were. Time also changes how you handle failure. Mistakes still hurt, but they don't paralyze you. You correct faster. You learn quicker. You move on without self-destruction, because wasting time on regret now feels worse than making the wrong move. The people who realize time is running don't become frantic. They become precise. They do less, but with more meaning. They say no more often, without guilt. They commit more deeply, without hesitation. This awareness isn't about fear of death. It's about respect for life. Respect for the fact that days don't repeat and attention doesn't come back. You don't need a crisis to reach this point. You need honesty. Honesty about how you're spending your days. Honesty about what you're avoiding. Honesty about what you actually want to build. When you realize time is running, life stops feeling abstract. It becomes intentional, directed, alive, not rushed, not anxious. clear. And once that clarity arrives, it's very hard to go back to wasting days, as if they don't matter. Because now you know they do. If this way of thinking resonates with you, like the video and subscribe for more ideas like this.